I have my stand, but I'll just, I might take it back. Is it going to do a, is it going to give me back? No, this is the only thing that might is my recorder. This is the only other thing that has it. Actually, I could probably do it off my
Alright, I think it's 59 and change. I think we can go ahead and get started. Alright, calling the meeting to order. My name is Kevin Nelson, I'm the mayor of Salix. Calling the meeting to order. Jean?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Emily? And Linda?
Yes.
Alright. Woodbury County Sheriff's Report. I know we have a deputy that
Yeah, I'm that. Last month we had 3 calls for service. No pending investigations right now, no arrests last month. We're not really concerned that he's right now.
Any comments or questions from the council for the deputy?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have his name? Okay, awesome. All right, next is the mayor's statement. So I'm just gonna come around and talk to everybody. It's a little bit easier for everyone to hear me too.
There's a microphone. Yeah, can you use the microphone?
It's okay.
No.
I can project my voice pretty good. All right, this is only gonna take a couple minutes and then I'll go into the next agenda item. My name is Kevin Nelson and I'm the mayor of Salix. When I was born, my parents brought me home from the hospital to their house they lived in across the street from the Salix City Park. It was a school back then. My father still lives in that same house over 40 years later. My grandparents on my dad's side live just outside of Salix, near Loop. My grandparents on my mom's side live right here in Salix for over 50 years. When they eventually transitioned into assisted living, they sold me their house, and I have lived in that house for the last 15 years and counting. Four generations of my family have lived in that house because I have raised all three of my sons there. I tell you all this so that you understand that I care about the future of Salix. I have the same concerns that anyone else does about a data center. Electricity, water, noise, and down the list. I also have the same concerns that many have, is that Salix is becoming a ghost town. A few decades ago, Salix had a school, multiple gas stations, multiple bars and restaurants, and a bank branch. All that's left on that list is one restaurant. Per the 2010 federal census, the population of Salix was around 370 people. At the 2020 census, the population of Salix was less than 300. We lost 25% of our population in 10 years, on top of losing all those businesses. Salix currently has the lowest population in its entire 130-year plus history, ever. I don't know if a data center is what's right for the future of Salix, but I am open to learning more. I have not received any further information from Mid-American than what they said last month. They're doing site analysis, and they think it's a good site for development because of those large, 4-story tall electrical transmission lines that are already out there and have been out there for decades. Mid-American said last month that there is no end user yet, and no detailed plans have been provided to Salix elected officials. That's still the same now as it was last month and the month before that. The same families that owned that 900 plus acres last year still own that 900 plus acres right now. That has not changed. I have a stoic or stone-faced manner during council meetings. It's not because I don't have empathy for people that have concerns, because I do. I'm an accountant, and I work with screens and numbers for a living. I'm not a perfect person, and one of the things that I struggle with is public speaking. Standing in front of 100 people, talking about a very sensitive topic, it's not an easy thing to do. On top of that, the council, the clerk, and I have received threats over the last few months, up to and including death threats. I reported the death threats to the Woodbury County Sheriff's Department, and they are investigating. Put yourself in our shoes. You're sitting in front of 100 people. You don't know if those death threats are serious or not. And this data center topic is very divisive. It's a very scary and nerve-wracking thing to be in front of you all. Please have some compassion for the people up here, and please understand that we all have compassion for your concerns too. I am now going to go over the process and the timeline for the 2026 voluntary annexation so that everyone understands and can see that the city of Salix has followed Iowa state law every single step of the process. That concludes my mayor's statement. Okay, next thing on the agenda. Voluntary annexation process and timeline. There's a packet of information over there on the table. If you don't have one, I'm sure there's still some more copies. Otherwise, we can always print you some at City Hall tomorrow if you want to have one. There's been a lot in the news about voluntary annexation, just annexation in general, and so I'm going to take this next 10 to 15 minutes to talk to everybody, because not everybody might understand the nuances of annexation law, and I'm just trying to help people understand. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of just flat out lies out there. So, the very first thing is Iowa Economic Development Authority. This is on their website. You can go download it however you want. This is their kind of a cheat sheet that's on their website for understanding how 100% voluntary annexation works, not in an urbanized area. So, first question everybody's going to have is, what is not in an urbanized area? As you can see in that first number 1, the second line there, not in an urbanized area just means town is more than 2 miles away from its nearest neighbor city. So, Sergeant Bluff and Sioux City are right over the interstate from each other, so they're both in an urbanized area. Salix is at least 6 miles from Sergeant Bluff, at least 6 miles from Sloan. We're more than triple the law, what the law requires of not an urbanized area. So Salix, Sloan, Hornick, Smithland, Lawton, Mobile, we are all not in an urbanized area. And why does that matter? Because the laws are different if you're not in an urbanized area. And that's what the city of Salix follows, is the laws that are applicable to us. So, the other part of that is 100% voluntary. What does that mean? And on the next page of the packet, and this came from their website, and it's on the bottom, word for word. First up is, there's a city development board that's appointed by the governor, and they oversee annexations of all cities in Iowa. Now, in Iowa, each category, not in an urbanized city, not in an urbanized area, in an urbanized area, they both have 3 options. First option, 100% voluntary. It sounds exactly what it is. Every single person that applies wants to be annexed into the city. The opposite of that, involuntary annexation. That is when a city chooses to annex land completely against the owner's wishes and annexes it anyway. There is an enormous amount of paperwork and steps in order to do that, and a city only has 3 years to provide those landowners with water and sewer services. Salix has never done that, and never will, I expect. So, those are the first 2. The third one is a hybrid. It's called 80-20. That means at least 80% of the land is owned by people that want to be annexed in. And 20% or less don't want to be annexed in. So here's an example of where that applies. It didn't happen in this situation. This was 100% voluntary. 80-20 is, let's say tomorrow a rectangle of land south of Salix wants to be annexed in. But there's one house right in the middle and they don't. Well, by state law, a city can't have an island of unincorporated county right in the middle. It's against the rules, it's against the law. So what the governors and the Iowa legislatures have done is say, okay, you can have this hybrid where we'll treat you as all voluntary as long as it's 80% want it and 20% don't. We'll treat you as voluntary, but you have to go through an extra few steps. But if it's 100% voluntary, the Iowa legislature over the last 50 years, and numerous governors have been on board, has said, okay, they all want it. The amount of hoops you have to jump through is only 3, compared to 80-20 or involuntary, which have way more. All right. So that's the second page. Now the third page is the code that actually applies to Salix. And that is Iowa Code 368.7 subsection 2. And this is word for word copied directly from Iowa state law. And I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because I'm going to go into the steps in a moment, but it's kind of reflected on that cheat sheet. But basically the steps are the following. 1, a landowner or landowners puts in an application with the city, and the application has to say the legal description of the property, landowner's names printed, landowner's signatures, and a map showing where that property is connected to the rest of the city. So why does that map matter? That map matters so any common person can see, oh, it connects to existing city limits. So for example, if somebody over just outside Correctionville wants to annex, they can't. They're not connected to our existing city limits. Sorry, not gonna happen. Decline your request. So that's why the map is crucial, so that we can see that we connect to city limits. For this one that happened this year, and the one in 2013, and the one in 2003, it was all 100% voluntary all 3 times. And maps were provided by the landowners. So, the steps are, receive the application with all the required information. 2, you have to inform the county supervisors via certified mail at least 14 business days before the city council can vote. 3, the city has to put in a county-approved, county official newspaper at least 14 days, just days, not business days, 14 days before the council can vote. 4, the council votes at their public hearing, then it's approved. Then it's step 5, where the city clerk sends all the information to various entities, DOT, Secretary of State, county supervisors, utility companies, and the list goes on. Once the Secretary of State reviews all the paperwork, processes it, once that is done, that is the date the annexation is official. Those are the 5 steps for a 100% voluntary annexation request for a non-urbanized city. Okay. Next paper. This is Salix's form for voluntary annexation. You can see it's very basic. Legal description, signatures, landowner's name, and then a request saying, attach your map. Very basic because that's all they have to provide. Technically, landowners don't have to use this form. It's not required by law. They can just put it in a letter, and as long as it has all its required information, it still counts. Using a form is not required by law. Salix has one, as do many cities, to help landowners fill out the information. This is available by going into City Hall and you can ask for one. It's also available on our city website for anyone to download and print off and use. All right, so now that we all understand different kinds of voluntary annexation, not in an urbanized versus in an urbanized, 100%, 80-20, and involuntary, let's talk about the ones that happened this year, and also how it compares to the ones that we did in 2013 and the one that we did in 2003. So, at some point, I don't know when, Mid-American began discussions with various landowners. Mid-American also began their site analysis. That's what they said last month. That's what they told us. Their site analysis is doing there because of those long 4- or 5-story tall electrical transmission lines that go through that area and have been going through that area for decades. Then in late January, early February, representatives from Mid-American informed all 5 council members at the time, myself as the mayor and the city clerk, that they were doing site analysis, and it was near Salix. They didn't specify which landowners. They didn't say exactly where it would be. They said exactly what they said last month, which is, because of those big electrical transmission lines, we think it's a good site for development. They said could be solar, could be wind, could be data center, but definitely not nuclear. They made sure to stress definitely not nuclear. Then on March 12th, before I go to March 12th, at no time ever have I, any member of the city council or the city clerk, ever signed a non-disclosure agreement with anyone. Nor were we ever asked to. I want to say that again because it keeps getting out there, even though I've said it multiple meetings now. We have never signed a non-disclosure agreement, nor have we ever even been asked to. We have also never received any kind of agreement or memorandum of understanding or contract or anything like that from Mid-American, the landowners, or an end user. We have received nothing like that. Zero. All right, on March 12th, at around 3-4 p.m., a lawyer representing the various landowners came into City Hall with a packet of forms and maps and all the various information that are required and handed into City Hall. Our city clerk immediately contacted me, let me know. Then she immediately contacted our city attorney, who's sitting right here, John Hines, and asked for advice on what do we do next, because we haven't done this since 2013. We have the documentation, but Ashley's only been on the job for about a year. She has not done an annexation, so she immediately went to our council for advice. And our council, John Hines and his team, have been advising us, the council, myself and Ashley, every step of the way to make sure that we follow every state law to the letter and beyond. On March 12th, when they handed it in, I personally called Chairman Supervisor Mark Nelson and talked to him for 10 minutes, and my phone records can prove it. I told him, hey, we just got a voluntary annexation request in. It's about northeast of town. Here's a couple of the names of the people involved. And oh, by the way, Mid-American's been talking about site analysis. They said solar, said wind, said potentially data center, but definitely not nuclear. And Mark said, okay, thanks for the heads up. I didn't want there to be even a possibility that the supervisors didn't know it was coming or that they didn't see it on their desk at all. I went above and beyond. March 13th, the very next day, we put a cover letter together. By we, I mean Ashley, as advised by our city council. Put a cover letter together and sent that via certified mail to the county supervisors. You can see that on the very next page. You can see the cover letter. You can see that we sent it by a certified mail. You can see it was dated March 13th, the very next day after we received it. We did not sit on it. We addressed it immediately. Now, why is that important? First, it's because state law requires it. Remember, we have to send it via certified mail at least 14 days before the council can vote. We sent them that, and they were notified 16 days, 16 business days before our council meeting. So the city clerk went above and beyond what's required by law and notified the county supervisors. Now, same day, March 13th, the city clerk puts it in the newspaper, contacts the Sergeant Bluff Advocate, and says, hey, we have this voluntary annexation notification. It's massive because the sheer amount of legal descriptions for the property just goes on and on and on. It was enormous. It cost hundreds of dollars to put it in the Advocate. Hundreds. Some of you will be wondering, like, why did you put it in the Advocate? Well, we had to put it in a county official newspaper. And in Woodbury County, there's only 3. There's the Sergeant Bluff Advocate, there's the Sioux City Journal, and there's the Mobile Record. Mobile Record we haven't used as a city because it's kind of in a different corner of our county. That's more for Lawton, or Correctionville, that area than the woods. So Sioux City Journal and Advocate, the city has used the Advocate for decades because generally it's cheaper. both to buy and to post information in. It's been the city of Salix's official newspaper for decades, and that's why it was used. The Grapevine is not a county official newspaper. It would not have been allowed legally to be used as our legal notification because it's not a county official newspaper. So we couldn't use it because it was legally not allowed. We had history with using the Advocate, and it was posted in the Advocate. Now, some of you are questioning, like, well, when was it in the Advocate? That's on the second to last page. You can see that it was on the Advocate on March 19th. Because they print things the following Thursday. They don't print newspapers at the Advocate every day. So it was in the very next available notification possibility for the Advocate. Why is that important? Because as I mentioned before, the third step for 100% voluntary annexation is you have to put it in a county official newspaper at least 14 days, not business days, just days, before the council can vote. It was put in the Advocate on the 19th. 20 days before the meeting. Once again, the city went above and beyond what was required by law to notify people. Now I'd like to step back for a second and talk about the county supervisors and their notification. I touched on how they were notified via certified mail. I touched on how I called Mark Nelson personally and talked to him. What I want to touch on is the next document in the packet, showing that they received it multiple times. They received it from certified mail March 23rd. The city does not control the post office. What matters is, when did we mail it? We mailed it the very next day that we got it. It doesn't count against the city that the post office took too long to get it up there. What counts is, did we mail it? And that's the date it counts off of. Now, next page is a acceptance of service from Joshua Whitman. For those of you that don't know who Joshua Whitman is, he is a deputy county attorney that works for County Attorney James Loomis. And most of the time, I'd say 80 to 90% of the time, he sits with the county supervisors and advises them during their weekly meetings every Tuesday. He sits on the right. He acknowledged receipt of it. And this is a copy with his signature and date, showing that he received it on March 18th. Because once again, we went above and beyond, and our county attorney emailed him the documents on March 18th. So not only did we go above and beyond and notify them in certified mail extra days, not only did we go above and beyond notifying the newspaper extra days, not only did we go above and beyond by calling Mark Nelson personally, we went above and beyond and sent the supervisors twice in March, months ago. All right, so let's go back to the timeline. All right, on April 6th, weeks later, the Salix City Council agenda was posted, as it's always been posted, in 3 places: City Hall, Post Office, City Council Chambers. On April 8th, Salix City Council had their meeting, including a public hearing for the voluntary annexation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, all 5 council members voted yes to approve the annexation request. And I've seen some false information out there that said that somehow the mayor pushed this through. I want to make something very, very clear to everyone. The mayor does not have a vote on the city council. Never has. It's just like the president and Congress, or the governor and the state legislature, Mayor Salix and the council. I do not have a vote on anything they do. The only people that can vote an annexation, or a zoning change request, or a resolution, or an ordinance, are the 5 elected, currently 4, soon to be 5 again, elected council members. That's it. I don't have a vote. The city clerk doesn't have a vote. Just those 5 people. All right, so at the council meeting, they voted 5 yeses. At the public hearing, anyone was invited to speak at that public hearing. Some of the landowners were present at that meeting. Not all of them, but I recognize some of them. They chose not to speak. They're not required to. They are private citizens. They don't have to talk if they don't want to. They don't owe anyone an explanation because they're private citizens. At no time did any of the landowners tell me as the mayor or any of the council members their motivations for annexing. Because again, they don't have to. They're not required to. Now, I want to mix something real quick as well. Circling back to the county supervisors and how they knew in March. None of the county supervisors, not one, ever contacted City Hall, city clerk, myself as the mayor, about any questions at all. They never contacted us at all. Not one of the county supervisors chose to come to the April 8th meeting called the annexation. Not one. And the cover letter that you saw that's in this packet clearly says when the meeting was. They knew, they chose not to attend. And they chose to ignore it for 3 months. Now, council meeting is concluded on April 8th. They voted yes unanimously. Next day, I signed the resolution that they passed. And then on April 10th, 2 days later, the city clerk, Ashley Morrow, sent the various documents to all the various state and local authorities that she needed to send them to. Secretary of State, utilities, county supervisors, and down the list. The very last item in the packet is from the Secretary of State. A letter from them on April 23rd confirming they received all of our documentation, everything was followed to the letter of the law, and then some, and the annexation was approved. That's the entire process. 1, paperwork comes in from the landowners, and by the way, the only thing the city provided was the form via its website. We didn't provide any maps. We didn't provide any legal descriptions. Nothing. That's on the landowners. They provided all of that. 2, they would notify, the county supervisor would notify via certified mail 16 days before the council meeting, more than what's legally required. 3, it was in the county newspaper, the Advocate, 20 days before the council meeting. 4, the council voted yes unanimously. 5, the council, the city clerk, mailed all the documentation to all of the respective government entities, and it became official on April 23rd. I know there's a lot of confusion around annexation, and I know some of you are thinking, like, why didn't I say all this in April, or May, or June? at the April meeting, all of the landowners had an opportunity to speak. They chose not to. Every single one of the council people had an opportunity to speak. They chose not to. Because the only thing that the council knew for a fact was that these landowners had a right to voluntarily annex, petition to, and that's the only fact that they had. And so they went with, okay, we're going to annex this land per their request. Now I mentioned this is what's been done before. In 2013, Mike Patterson annexed hundreds of acres to the west of Salix and a little bit to the north. 100% voluntary annexation. Exact same process was followed. In 2003, Rick Patterson annexed hundreds of acres across the interstate. The exact same process was followed. I know that some in the news are saying, like, what about this consultation? What about that? That consultation is only required if you're in an urbanized area, which Salix is not, or if you're doing an 80-20 or an involuntary annexation. And you might be asking yourself, well, why? And the reason is, if it's two cities close to each other, they might both have an equal claim on annexing that land. So there needs to be a consultation between the two cities and the county supervisors to kind of mediate on who gets it. That doesn't apply here. There's not another city for over 6 miles. The other one is like, well, why didn't you come to a consultation? Because of the 80-20. Like, there's no need for a consultation. Every single landowner knew about it because they signed the form asking for it. Consultation would be if there is that example where the rectangle and the one house in the middle, if that house in the middle didn't know, then they need to be consulted about it, or at least told about it. That's where it applies. Doesn't apply when it's 100% voluntary annexation, because every single landowner knows and wants it to happen. There was no consultation here. There was no consultation in 2013. There was no consultation in 2003. Because Salix follows the law that applies to it, which is that it's a straightforward, streamlined, 5-step process. By the way, that law has been in place since the 70s. Hopefully this answers everyone's questions about annexation and the timeline for everything. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to the regularly scheduled meeting. All right, so next up is the public forum. Attorney John Hines is going to give overall kind of a overview of the process, and then I have a list of people that signed up. My apologies. I looked away for a second, and I don't know what happened. Derek, can you do something? No, you're safe?
I just came up for 2 is too many for one person.
All right. So, John, go ahead.
Yeah, John Hines, the city attorney. For folks who haven't been here before, this is the public forum where it's the public's opportunity to offer comments to the council and to the mayor. It's not a Q&A format. If you do have something that you're going to talk about that's on the agenda, council and the mayor will address that during that agenda item. If you have items that are not on the agenda that you want to talk about, council and mayor won't address that at all because they can only talk about things that are on the agenda.
All right, so people have up to 5 minutes to speak, 45 minutes. I'm not going to be super strict about the 45 minutes, but we're also not going to spend 3 hours doing this. So I'm just going to read off the list, and if you'll just stand, say your name and address, and then I'll start a timer on my phone, and then you have 5 minutes to speak about whatever subject you want. The first person is Leo Yoakum. Leo, are you here? Okay, there you are, Leo. Whenever you're ready.
Leo Yoakum, 1691 250th Street, Salix, Iowa. My family moved on to a farm in Salix in 1958 when I was 12 years old. I've been a Salix resident ever since, and I've seen a lot of changes. At that time, Salix had 2 grade schools, 2 high schools, 2 grocery stores, 5 gas stations, 2 banks, 2 grain elevators, 1 fertilizer dealer, 2 bars, a hardware store / lumber yard, blacksmith shop, automotive repair shop, and a fuel distributor, and probably many more other small businesses that I'm missing that serve the small town and the surrounding community. Most of the farmers in that area farmed 80 to 160 acres, so most of them were employed off the farm to supplement their income. As they reached retirement age, if one of their children did not want to farm, they rented it out to their neighbors. As a result, farms got bigger, and there were fewer farmers coming into the doors into businesses at Salix. When the farm crisis of the 1980s hit, it did not only cause a mass exodus of farmers, but it caused most of the businesses in Salix to close, never to reopen. Salix was not the only city that suffered. Even Sioux City was impacted. However, the Sioux City Council members, they were very much aware of the farm economy, as the city had 2 major packing plants closed, along with related industries, which were also impacted by the farm economy. So in order to keep a large workforce from leaving the area, they purchased hundreds of acres of farmland between Sioux City and Sergeant Bluff, started a recruiting process to locate businesses to that area south of Sioux City, which today is known as the Industrial Interchange. At the same time, our area right here saw an employment boom with the George Neal plant being built on 720 acres that IPS bought in 1972, which eventually became Mid-American Energy. Other companies then came into that area and expanded to the north, which has now become a major industrial area. Sioux City industry is now progressing south of the airport, while the industrial area moves north. However, almost all of this farmland in this area is in Woodbury Township. All this farmland is in Woodbury Township and the Sergeant Bluff Luton School District. And as a result, a lot of tax dollars go to the school and the city of Sergeant Bluff. This enables them to attract new businesses and housing. When you look at the city of Sergeant Bluff, you see the positive results of the amount of revenue that businesses generate. Now the city of Salix has an opportunity to move forward. You as a council are to be commended for the due diligence and the foresight that you've shown throughout this project. There's a lot of support for this project, and it started with the voluntary annexation of 6 landlords. I've had numerous people express their support over the last few months. If a data center becomes a reality, it will provide a much-needed financial opportunity for the area throughout the construction phase and long after that, similar to the economic boost created by the George Neal Power Plant and its supported businesses, in addition to the revenue that it will generate for the city of Salix and the Westwood School District. We can look back at the Sioux City Council and see how they were proactive. We can look back at Port Neal Industry and say, Salix can do the same. Now is the time that you as a council can control your own destiny, make this area a very attractive place to work and live, and having the children attend school. Again, I want to reiterate, you have a lot of support for this project. Thank you.
All right, next is Rick Platt. Platty. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Rick Plotty. I'm a licensed master electrician in the state of Iowa, and I'm proud to serve as a business manager for IBEW Local 231 here in Sioux City, Iowa. That's the Electrical Workers Union, for those of you that don't know. I represent 400 active, working journeyman and apprentice wiremen, 115 retired journeyman wiremen, and 40 new, just starting out helpers. They coach sports, they volunteer in our communities, they pay local taxes and raise families, some of them here in Salix. I know there are a lot of sincere concerns on a data center, particularly farmland usage, water usage, electrical demand. These are legitimate concerns that deserve careful answers. But let's not stop there. Let's also consider the tremendous opportunities for Salix and the surrounding communities if it is developed responsibly and held to a high standard set by this council and other regulatory agencies. Projects this size do not come around often. During construction, they create hundreds of high-paying jobs for electricians and other skilled trades. Also during construction, support for local businesses such as restaurants, hotels, fuel suppliers, equipment dealers, and countless others. Paychecks spent locally create a ripple effect through the local economy. But beyond construction, they expand the local tax base. They provide resources for infrastructure, public safety, and other community needs. Whoever welcomes this project will reap these rewards. Let's go back to agriculture. It's always been a foundation of this area. Nothing about supporting responsible economic development will change that. We have balanced farming with manufacturing, energy, and other industries for generations. We can continue to protect what this area is, why this area, and what makes this area special, while creating opportunities for our children, grandchildren, without them leaving Northwest Iowa. I would respectfully ask this council to keep an open mind, require the developer to meet high standards for water use, power consumption, as well as environmental stewardship. Please carefully weigh the long-term benefits this investment could bring to Salix. Thank you for your time and your service to the community.
Next is Dean Bradham. Probably butchering everyone's names, it's not difficult.
My name's Dean. I'm with Local 33 Plumbers and Steam Fitters. I've been working for them for 27 years. Everybody likes to call it a temporary job, but I don't call 27 years a temporary job. We built this city and all around the powerhouse and everything. That's what we do. We build stuff. But we're not only people that build stuff, we work and live in our communities. We live here, we coach here, we do things here. I know a lot of faces from being here. I've had my car worked on here. I used to get gas over here, no longer, right? I stop at the restaurant over here and eat regular. You know, I used to do houses and stuff around here for plumbing. This has been my community for a lot of years. I haven't actually lived in town. I've lived around the community. I lived in Ottawa. I lived in Sergeant Bluff. I currently live in Sioux City. We have 170 members in this area, 2,209. A data center here would be a game changer for people in this area. I'm not going to deny that I hope we can build it. There's no guarantee of that. But in other areas, a data center has caused a lot of economic boom, a big boom. It would be great for this community. Woodbury would benefit from it greatly. If the Woodbury Board of Supervisors would open their eyes and quit being anti-everything, we could have some more economic development in Woodbury County. They're against windmills. They're against solar. They're against pipelines. They're against data centers. They don't even know why. Generally, a moratorium is put on something that we have too many of them. We're throwing something out there before we even do it. Des Moines has been building these things for 15 years. Some of the people have been doing this temporary work for 15 years. I don't know what you call a permanent job, but I can tell you these are good paying jobs. And if this was to come to this area, and if we could get this project and it went union, we would put a lot of people on. Your daughters, your sons, your husbands. I mean, we have a lot of opportunity. I would like to spread that opportunity around. I would like for my son-in-law, my grandkids, to be able to work here. I'm afraid they're gonna move. Woodbury has lost over 1,000 residents in the last year. That's a lot for 107 to 106,000. Why? We don't have that many opportunities, truthfully, if you think about it. All of Woodbury County, you look at all of Woodbury County, there is no opportunities in these towns. There's one community that's got a manufacturing plant that's expanded, and that's, you know, out there in Holstein. Yay. They've got something going on. Their kids can work there, people can work there and live in the community. There's not too many people that get to live and work in this community. I don't know what a town is, but it's people that live and work in their own community, make money and spend it and grow and raise people there. A data center, let's talk about the water. Sioux City has excess water, plenty of water. I've talked to the guy that runs the treatment plant over here. Plenty of water. They're not going to need any additional water from this area. Let's talk about water usage already in the area. Golf courses. 2.5 golf courses use as much water as an average data center on this site, on this normal site. A circle pivot of 130 acres, putting down 1 inch of water, will use between 500 and 1.5 million gallons a day. How many circle pivots do we see out there? I don't see anybody concerned about the water usage on that. Why? Because you're used to it, right? Everybody's used to it. It's not a big deal. Cancer is big in Iowa, right? I mean, a lot of people are coming down with cancer. I just donated over here to the bar for a lady that's got cancer. Can I contribute to one thing? No. But when we have so much cancer in Iowa, you've got to wonder why. This data center is going to be looking at using technologies that we all use. All the people that are on Facebook and they're on their phones all day and on their computer and storing their pictures and watching TV and their movies and their car, their trucks. Everybody uses this data center. It's not like it's new. It's not new technology. They're making it better. It uses less energy. It uses less as we go along. But it's something we're all using. Why can't we be a part of it? Why does everything always have to be a way? We could boom from it. Woodbury County can. The school that needs stuff that everybody wants to turn down, I don't want to pay more taxes. Well, you won't have to. There's an opportunity to lower your tax rate. This is an opportunity to lower taxes. I'm telling you, it's, in my opinion, a good thing. I would like to see this group of people really look at this opportunity, make sure it fits in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chad Small. Okay.
Chad Small from live on Dallas Avenue between Sullivan and Salix. I'm here talking more about the moratorium Woodbury County is asking you guys to do, and how I pose it. Right now, nothing's getting built. There's no construction happening, there's only a proposal. And I believe this community deserves a chance to hear it before we decide to close the door on it. As leaders of Salix, you have the responsibility and the authority to determine whether any projects is the right fit for our community. You can require responsible development, you can negotiate conditions, you can make sure our roads, water, and residents are protected. A moratorium does not give you more authority, it simply prevents the conversations from happening. We've seen this happen before. Our county supervisors telling landowners, you can't put solar on your land, you can't put a wind tower on your land. All the board has done is cost landowners wealth for their future. Great job building and maintaining these projects, and lost tax money for our community. It isn't Salix's fault they can't find a client for their industrial park. Or maybe this data center will bring more industrials here for the field park. I lived in this area my whole life, I've never left. I remember what Salix used to be. I remember when there were jobs in town, we had enough kids to have our own baseball team and didn't have to go to Sloan and sit on the bench. We had multiple places to get your haircuts, vehicles, and tractors repaired. A grain elevator over here that people in town worked at, provided jobs and gave farmers another chance to go to. We had a bank, convenience store where you could buy gas, groceries, even a place to buy worms before you went to Browns Lake and fished. Those businesses didn't provide services that gave people a reason to stay here, raise their families here, and invest in this community. Let's also be honest where we're at. This is already industrial. We have rail lines, an interstate, highways, existing industry surrounding us. If you want to know whether these kind of projects can coexist with small towns, drive through communities that have wind farms or data centers. These towns remain great places to live while benefit from additional tax revenues that help our schools, roads, and our local services. I simply ask you to not reject the opportunity before we even heard the proposal. Let's ask the hard questions. Let's make sure the project fits our community. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Mayor, for your earlier speech. Thank you.
All right, next is Andy Clayton. And there he is.
So, I'm Andy Clayton, live right side out of town. I'm not gonna be as long, but I just wanna say, I live really close to the area. So I want you guys to do this responsibly, but I don't think you can make a decision either way now. You gotta collect the information, and a moratorium, all that does is punt it down the road. So I just think, stay the course. You know, I know you guys went through a lot of crap, and I think it's terrible. I mean, a lot of people should be embarrassed for what they've done. So, thank you.
Tony Wortman?
Hello, my name is Tony Wortman. I have a little experience on data centers. I come from Stanton, Nebraska. I sat in meetings like this. I had 3 minutes to talk. My home was right across the road from one of these places. The 3 minute was a railroading project, the railroad our property. We had MPPD, which is Mid-America here. They were back of the room, they lined it. These people pushed this project through. They sought out these data people. They called it a data mine or a data center. Doesn't mean anything. These data companies can do anything when they get in there. They can put crypto in there. They can do an actual data warehouse. They can do AI. There's no controlling once you get in. These are multi-millionaires, billionaires that they won't listen to you guys. You are kidding. If you think you can control these guys once they get in, you cannot control a power company. Those people have power of eminent domain. They used it on me. They took my property to build a power line illegally from a 10-mile location. They charged the ratepayers $20 million for this power line to finance a crypto mine across the road from our place that whines and howls so bad, our livestock got mean, our animals got wild, our wildlife left. If you got a dairy within 5 miles of this thing, look out, because this stuff radiates. It radiates out 3 miles, and that's just a small data center they put in our place, or a crypto mine if you want to call it that, because they use the term interchangeably. They destroyed our home so bad, we couldn't sleep at night. We had to get sleep machines just to get some sleep. And it didn't help. Our house rattled. Our machine sheds rattled. They didn't care. They were out of Lincoln. They didn't care. They didn't live there. They don't put these things by their houses. They put them by your houses. Your small independent people that live around this, you guys are going to suffer, and you're going to suffer tough as NPPD, or not NPPD, Mid-America comes in with their eminent domain and takes your property, gives you a little or nothing for it, builds a substation. They don't care. These CEOs at the power companies make millions, and half of the salaries they get, and this was researched by a peeper, is from crypto and this kind of stuff because they get bonus by wasting energy. And talk about wasting energy. They waste more energy on 5 little crypto pods up there in our county than the rest of the county uses. So they're going to put a 900-acre crypto farm out here, or a data center, whatever you want to call it, because you don't know, because you haven't researched it, you haven't looked into it. And they say, oh, it's going to increase your taxes, or reduce your taxes. Our taxes have gone up every year since they put this in. Not 1 second did it go down. And we can prove that to you. And I tell you, these people that live around there, they don't have a say. They get 3 minutes to defend their home. And you people have, the ability to stop that crowd and look into this stuff and look what they're going to do, because you're going in blind, trust me, because that's exactly what they did there. And you just don't know what it's like to live by one of these things. We belong to a national group. We know people in Texas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, New York that are fighting this, and they've got their lawyers after them, and they're fighting this stuff. They're trying to get moratorium. We got Nebraska City calling us because they got one of these things coming in. and they're trying to stop it. We got one over here, we got one in Broken Bow, and they're trying to stop it because these places, they have no respect for the neighbors. If you live anywhere around these things, you're doomed. We have and want to move. We can't sell our property because it's worth nothing. No one wants to buy a piece of property that's got noise rattling so loud that the water pipes in the house gurgle. Nobody wants to have a livestock operation where the animals are so mean. They actually look at you and they just hate you. You go in the yard and they'll chase you because they want to kill you because they're suffering just like you are. Your brain wants to explode. That's how bad this stuff can be. And it's not me saying that, that's people all over the United States. And I can put you in a Zoom meeting and you can talk to these people and advise it before you ever put this into your community and destroy it.
My name's Ashley. Some of you may know me, but most of you probably don't. I wasn't born here. My family isn't from this area. I don't live in city limits. But Salix is a city that's written on my address. When people ask me where I live, I tell them Salix. I used to be proud to tell people that. Now there's a part of me that's embarrassed to be affiliated with what's been going on here. Salix has been a topic in the news more times in the past few months than it has been in the 5 years that I've lived here. We have been a topic in the news for something that could be so detrimental to this area. Despite the secrecy, the lies, and the lack of transparency, a larger portion of me is still proud of this community because of the way we have come together to protest and fight the development of a data center. I drive through Salix every time I go to work. I have counted 12 residences on my drive to work that are visibly protesting against the data center. These homes have anti-data center signs in their yards. I drove through the streets of Salix today, and there are 24 residential properties that have anti-data center signs in their yards. Residential properties. These are people's homes. People with their family and their children live here. These aren't commercial lots. These people actually live here. These are the people that you see out taking walks, playing in the park, the people that you eat with at the bar or see in the post office. These are the people that call Salix home. These are your neighbors, your friends. These people do not want a data center, and they are telling you and they are showing you what they want. We asked you for a moratorium on data centers on Salix ground once already, and we were told it was unnecessary at that juncture. Within 2 weeks of our request and that comment, Woodbury, Sioux, and Plymouth County enacted a 1-year moratorium on data centers. If it was so unnecessary at that juncture, why did Plymouth, Sioux, and Woodbury County enact a moratorium as quickly as they did? Despite being a part of Woodbury County, Salix is not protected by a moratorium at the county level. This is proposed to take place on Salix ground, and yet we have not enacted a moratorium. We are once again asking for a moratorium. We have a petition and have obtained the signatures of 70 Salix residents. The people have spoken. Are you listening? We have been asking for honesty and transparency since we found out about the land annexation. I don't like accusing people of wrongdoings or lying or doing things in secrecy. There's been widespread speculation of this for many months. It is just a matter of time for things that have been done behind closed doors to come to light. Various things have been slowly made public. We the people have been finding out of things that have been happening behind our backs. Can each one of you sitting up there looking at us tell us that you have been transparent and honest with us? Can you say that you have been telling us what you know? Can you say that you have not lied to us? I personally do not feel as though you can all answer that question with a yes. I believe there is continued talk behind closed doors that is not being disclosed to us citizens. Are you aware or participating in the spread of a construction bid documents in relation to the 900-acre proposed data center site? A lot of faces in this room are people who either live in Salix or are part of the surrounding area. It won't just be people in Salix who are affected by this. I live less than a mile from this proposed project. Despite not living in Salix, this will directly affect me. My partner and I have spent the last 5 years with our blood, sweat, and tears working on our property and building things. The talk of this has us feeling conflicted. We still have a list of things we would like to do, but do we spend more time, work, and money working on projects on our homestead when there's talk of something of this magnitude going up so close to home? The long-term effects of these are not known. It is not fear-mongering or false news when you listen to first-hand accounts of people who live by these things and have had negative experiences. I know people are concerned about the age and the population of Salix, that it's an aging community, that we need more children, we need more young people. Building a data center is not the way to attract them. My partner and I live here now, and we're in our 20s. I can tell you without a doubt that if Salix had a data center and we were looking at homes, we would not have moved here. You don't approve a data center, in worst case scenario, you miss out on the possibility of some money. You approve a data center, and worst case scenario, you damage the surrounding land and you lose a large portion of your community. You drive away the people who live here. You lose friends and family who call Salix home. I don't know about the other residents of Salix, but I refuse to let my family be guinea pigs for a 900-acre data center.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Good afternoon, County Council. My name is Jose Montes, business agent for Local 21 Ironworkers, as well as I'm speaking on behalf of the Northwest Iowa Building Trades. I represent 12 trades around this area, Northwest Iowa, in support of this proposed data center project in Salix. This project represents a significant opportunity for Woodbury County during construction and will create hundreds of jobs, good-paying jobs for local skilled tradesmen and women, generating millions of dollars in wages that will spend in our local communities. These are family-supporting jobs that will help strengthen our local economy and support area businesses. Beyond construction, the data center will expand the county's tax base, creating new revenue that can help support roads, emergency services, schools, and other essential public services without placing additional burdens on current residents and property owners. We understand that the residents have questions about water, power, and environmental impacts. These concerns deserve thoughtful discussion. However, modern data centers are designed with efficiency in mind, and any project approved should be held to strict standards to protect local resources while allowing economic growth. Salix has a chance to welcome a major investment that will create jobs, generate tax revenue, and help secure a stronger future for our communities. Thank you for your time.
Let's say Colby Brown or Coley Brown?
Coley Brown.
All right.
Coley Brown, I am with the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska. I am on our tribal council. I'm the chairman of the tribal council. Winnebago, Nebraska is part of the Winnebago Indian Reservation. We just acquired land 4 miles from here. It took us 50 years to acquire this land back from the Corps of Engineers. 50 years. So I thank you guys for doing this forum and following the process right, it sounds like. Thank you for that and congratulations for doing that. First of all, I want to say the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska, a federally recognized tribe, is requesting a government-to-government consultation with the city of Salix, Mid-American Energy, and any partners in regard to the 900-acre proposed data center, specifically requesting any data, information, and or proposed plans that could impact our culture, environment, human health, and future economic development. The Winnebago Tribe oversees, we have our own hospital, we have our own law enforcement, we oversee the Winnebago's Casino, the War Horse, and Omaha Lincoln. HCI has hundreds of corporations under them. And I have a couple council members with us now, newly elected, that are here, and our Environmental Protection Department is here with us. And I'm going to read a short, I don't know if I get to this statement in time, on behalf of our people. We also oversee 5,000 tribal members, hundreds of land along the river here, and thousands up above the bluff going west. Thank you. The Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska firmly opposes the development of data centers on and or near the Winnebago Indian Reservation and opposes such development within ceded lands. Treaty protected areas and other locations where such development may adversely affect the Winnebago Indian Reservation or its tribal citizens and residents. This position reflects the tribe's sovereign obligation to protect the health, welfare, natural resources, cultural integrity, and the future of the Winnebago people. The tribe has identified serious concerns regarding data center development and the substantial demands such facilities place on water and energy resources. The Winnebago Indian Reservation is situated above the Dakota Sandstone Aquifer, and the Missouri River aquifer, two essential groundwater resources that sustain our communities. The Missouri River also flows directly through our reservation and remains central to our identity, culture, and way of life. Water is not merely a commodity, it's a living relative. Through our clan, our water spirit clan, we recognize that sacred medicine holds profound cultural, spiritual, and ceremonial significance. Any development that threatens the integrity of these waters threatens the well-being of our people and the continuation of our traditions. The immense electrical demands of data centers also raise serious concerns regarding regional energy reliability, increased costs for customers, and the expansion of energy generations necessary to meet new demand. Additional power production may result in increased greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution, contributing to rising temperatures and worsening public health conditions, including respiratory illnesses, asthma, chronic pulmonary disease, COPD. Since time, the Winnebago people have carried the responsibility to care for the lands, waters, and resources within and beyond our reservation boundaries. With hunting, fishing, gathering, all that this land provides for us, our culture and traditions, and maintaining spiritual connections to the land. The tribe does not support development that threatens our valuable resources or compromises cultural significant landscapes and sacred places. No development affecting tribal communities, lands, resources, or treaty rights should proceed without early, meaningful, and ongoing government-to-government consultations with the Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska and full recognition of its tribal sovereignty. The Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska supports responsible and sustainable economic development that respects the environment, protects cultural resources, and upholds tribal sovereignty. The Winnebago Tribe of Nebraska remains committed to exercising and defending the sovereign authority of the Winnebago people to protect tribal lands, treaty rights, and essential resources. The tribe will continue to advocate for accountable decision-making and environmental stewardship that reflects these responsibilities to present and for our future generations. So again, we come here right now to oppose, but again, we are here open-minded, always open-minded to good things for the health and welfare of all of us. Thank you.
Starts with an H. H-U...
Carson?
A-A-R-S-S-O-N. Okay.
Carson Huffman. I've now worked 13 proud years as a union pipe fitter for one of the few remaining base contractors in Salix. Working in nearly every industrial site in this community and tri-state area, the misconception of a data center being any worse than any other industrial site is false. These sites use millions and gallons of water in a week and in some cases a day. They draw an immense amount of power, water and power they pay to use, water and power that is plentiful, and water and power they have rights to. No other project in recent memory has been protested and misrepresented to this extent. As a worker in this community, I see firsthand no difference in a data center than in addition to a fertilizer chemical plant or a brand new industrial harvest and processing facility. They have proven to be responsible and ethical neighbors and huge boosters to the community in way of jobs, but not only in jobs, but in thousands of man hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars to charities benefiting those in need. The tax benefits for local improvements, new schools, new roads, money for emergency repairs on outdated water and fire mains, money for better fire and emergency services need to be considered. AI is here to stay. It's in every media app, every email, every shopping app, and every Amazon order we place. We should support future developers 100%. Thank you for your time.
All right, next is Jeff. I'm going to say Shuple. S-H-U-P-P.
Yeah, that's my name's Jeff Shudat. I'm a union plumber. I reside in Council Bluffs, Iowa, but I sit on the executive council for the Western Iowa Labor Federation. and represent a whole slew of folks in Woodbury County and surrounding. I know this is you guys' community, and I know there's a lot of anxiety and there's a lot of questions, and there should be, by the way. But just the outsider kind of looking in, I think this is a heck of an opportunity for Hotel City. I come from, like I said, I live in Constabulus, Iowa, and the only thing I can really talk about is my experience. And the experience in Constabulus, Iowa is over the last 20 years, we built 18 data centers there. 18. Thousands of acres. With the thousands of acres has been tens and I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands of extremely good paying jobs building these things. I didn't build the one in Constabulus, but currently I'm actually working in Cedar Rapids. A lot of the data centers in Constabulus have been good partners. I'm just going to be honest with you. My whole town of 70,000 people have free internet. We have our schools have free internet. They really bend over backwards and help school districts and fundraising stuff and stuff like that. And they should, by the way. They're making a ton of money. They've also improved a whole bunch of our water facilities there, upsizing a bunch of lines. They paid for all of it, stuff that a city of 70,000 couldn't afford before. Some of it had to be bigger because of their stuff, but some of it needed to be replaced just by maintenance. And I really think that my community has been fortunate. I hear there are no jobs when these things are built, and I would just want to tell you that's baloney. That's the best thing I can say about that. I have over 100 members from my union that permanently work at Google. And those 100 folks make over $200,000 a year. So these are very high paying jobs. These are maintenance jobs. These are jobs that would be here. The other thing I can speak with the experience is I've been working in Fairfax, Iowa, right now south of Cedar Rapids. There's 12,000 construction workers working on the project I'm working on right now. I'm not saying there's going to be 12,000 people here, folks, but I'm going to tell you what, if this thing happens, there are going to be hotels built here. There are going to be gas stations built here. There are going to be houses built here to rent. There are going to be, and those are the things that are going to happen. Campgrounds. They are going to happen. I mean, when there's that many folks working in one area, it only makes sense. I just feel like it's a real good opportunity for you guys, and the thing that bothers me the most is like that I hear that these are temporary jobs, even like me, construction worker. I am a construction worker. Every job that we go to is temporary. We don't go to a job for 40 years and work there. We go there for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and then we get in the pickup truck and we go to the next one. There are 6 folks that I'm sitting back here that do the same thing I do for a living that are working in Constabulus, Iowa, having to commute 90 miles back and forth, that live here. Get these guys some work here. Appreciate you guys' time.
All right, next is Lori Peterson.
Lisa?
There's a Lori written.
Oh, it says Lori, L-O-R-I.
No, Lisa. It should be.
Somebody wrote Lori.
Lisa, you're later.
Is there a Lori? No.
Last chance for a Lori. Okay. Greg Anderson.
My name is Greg Anderson, and I live in Sioux City. I'm a local construction worker, and I'm in favor of the data center just for the opportunity for a longer, short-term place to work. That's all I got to say.
Ron, B-E-G-N-O-C-H-E.
That would be me.
All right.
It's Bagnosh, you know, it's Bagnosh.
Say it again?
My name's Ron Bagnosh. I'm a retired pipe fitter, been in the trade 45 years plus. And I didn't really prepare a statement, and I really wasn't planning on talking, but when I hear you guys had death threats, that just freaks. I I can't believe that. I mean, that's way over the top. But, you know, creating more jobs, a lot of times too, something new is scary. That, you know, something new in the community can be scary because of the unknown. But more jobs, and when you look at the possibility of the tax relief, and it'd be good for a community like this that has slid a little bit because of the economy and because things going away. And I support the data center, and sorry about all that negative stuff you guys had to go through. That's all I have.
Next is Dean Clodfelter.
My name's Dean Clodfelter. I'm from Vermillion, South Dakota. I am part of Local 33, work for Rasmussen Mechanical Services out of Sioux City. I travel throughout Iowa, working HVAC services. I know that a lot of my brothers and sisters who work for the union, these jobs, we have families that we have to provide for. And this gives us an opportunity to not only provide for our families, but also inject money into your communities. I'm a father of two. My wife works in South Sioux. We both commute. It would be nicer to have some local work that would keep us closer to home where we could spend more time with our families. I'm a veteran, did 2 tours. But I did want to say I think you did a great job with transparency. It's a selfless service that definitely shouldn't happen to you, death threats, stuff like that. So I'm sorry that happened to you. I did want to share a letter from the mayor of West Des Moines. Russ Trimble, that went through the same thing that you're going through. I'm going to start with his words here. I've been elected official in West Des Moines since 2010, serving as city councilman for 12 years and mayor for almost 5 years. As an elected official, I've worked with Microsoft for 16 plus years. We currently have 5 Microsoft data centers in West Des Moines, with a 6th one already planned for the near future. The benefits of having these data centers and Microsoft specifically in our city are many. First, Microsoft has helped us diversify our economy and grow our tax base substantially. I believe Microsoft is the largest property taxpayer in West Des Moines. Just one of our Microsoft data centers has taxable valuation greater than the taxable valuation of the entire city of Windsor Heights. This increased tax base has helped us reduce the city levy rate from $12.05 per thousand to $10.80 per thousand over a 10 to 11 year period. Second, we created a TIF district to add the necessary infrastructure for Microsoft to locate in West Des Moines. The incremental increase in property tax valuation for Microsoft alone paid for infrastructure that otherwise would have someday been borne by the city taxpayer. 3, the infrastructure is paid for the incremental increase in property valuation from Microsoft, open up an additional 4,500 acres for development. 4, since we use TIF and not abatement, we couldn't take the debt services levies of the local governments. The debt service levy from our schools levied against this massive new evaluation has literally helped renovate and build new schools. I think this was a concern of a few of the members of the community. This has significantly helped not only those school districts, but the taxpayer in those districts as well. 5th, these data centers have created or will have created over 1,000 permanent high-quality jobs for our citizens. In addition to the permanent jobs at the data centers, this investment also created thousands of temporary construction jobs. I say temporary, quotes, because these jobs have been in existence since 2008 to 2009. The demand for HVAC specialists, which I am, electricians, and other construction types, jobs is massive. 6, having jobs working for Microsoft says to the rest of the world, West Des Moines is a progressive community with a diversity of good paying jobs of the 21st century. That helped with recruitment of young people to the community, OpenAI, ChatGPT 4, that powers premium versions of ChatGPT, was developed right here in one of our Microsoft data centers in West Des Moines, Iowa. 7, Microsoft is a great corporate citizen who is invested in the community, who cares about the city, and the people who live here deeply care about their environment. Thank you for your time.